Kale, a thin smile playing on his lips, inquired about this initiative to persuade other known associates of the Sentinels. Lyra detailed they had identified 3 potential active Sentinels from fragmented intelligence, one on the volcanic moon of Ignis IV, another in the deep space trading hub of Port Infinity, and a third surprisingly close, in the orbital archives of Cygnus Major. Her teams were en route, and she anticipated acquiring at least 2 more fragments before the halving event. Kale deemed this excellent, stating that with 3, perhaps even 2 fragments, combined with Anya Sharma's, the Satoshi Prime would be sufficiently complete to exploit the halving window. He ordered Sharma to be taken alive, as her fragment was unique, connected to the core validation protocols, according to his chronotechnicians. Lyra assured him she would be, and the ledger would be his. Lyra was the iron fist to Kale's velvet glove of corporate rhetoric, believing in order through strength, and seeing the decentralized ledger as an affront to that order. Days bled into weeks as Anya and Jax navigated perilous routes, staying 1 jump ahead of Chrono's syndicate patrols. Anya successfully decrypted Kai's list using the verse. It contained coordinates for 3 other potential Sentinels: Ignis IV, Port Infinity, and Cygnus Major. They had to warn them. Jax noted Ignis IV was closest, but a veritable hellscape, volcanically active, atmospherically unstable, and infested with predatory silicon-based lifeforms. He questioned why a Sentinel would choose such a place. Anya pointed to a note on the list guardian of the Nova-forged sigil. Sigils, unique cryptographic markers used in block creation, made her wonder if this fragment was tied to proof-of-stake generation. Jax conceded it was possible if Kale obtained a fragment controlling sigil generation. He could subtly influence transaction validation or even stall the entire network. They decided on Ignis IV, planning to make a covert approach. The Satoshi drifter landed precariously on a small, obsidian plateau on Ignis IV amidst lava rivers and ash plumes. The air was thick with sulfur and metallic tangs. Jax and Anya, clad in heavy envirosuits, disembarked. Ignis IV was even more hostile than Jax had described. The Sentinel, an ancient cyberneticist named Borin, lived in a geothermal-powered cavern deep beneath the volcanic crust. They found him just as Commander Lyra's elite shock troops were breaching his final defenses. A fierce firefight erupted. Borin, despite his advanced age, fought with surprising ferocity, his custom-built defense drones holding back Lyra's soldiers for precious minutes. He managed to thrust a small, heat-scarred data crystal into Anya's hand, urging her to take it, explaining it was attuned to the ledger's adaptive difficulty algorithm, and not to let Kale get it before he was struck down by a concentrated plasma burst. Jax grabbed Anya, pulling her towards a lava tube escape tunnel as Lyra herself entered the cavern, her sidearm smoking. Lyra, into her comms, ordered her troops to secure the Sentinel's primary fragment and prioritize the girl's capture as the secondary was with her. As they fled, Jax lamented that Kale got Borin's main fragment, but asked about the attuned crystal Anya now possessed. Anya believed it was a countermeasure, a way to broadcast a forced recalibration of the mining difficulty if someone tried to manipulate it. They barely made it back to the Satoshi drifter, Lyra's forces hot on their heels. The escape from Ignis IV was a desperate, terrifyingly close-run thing. Back in the Satoshi drifter, Jax surmised Kale now had Borin's fragment, giving him at least 1, maybe more if his other teams were successful. He acknowledged Lyra was formidable, exceedingly so. Anya insisted they had to get to Port Infinity. The Sentinel there, Elder Kai had said, was a conduit of the MEM flow. Jax identified the MEM flow as the dynamic holding area for unconfirmed transactions. If Kale could control that, he could censor transactions, prioritize his own, effectively causing digital gridlock and chaos. But Port Infinity was a major Chronos syndicate stronghold, akin to walking directly into the serpent's nest. Anya felt they had no alternative. The halving event was only 3 cycles away. If they could secure that fragment and combine its knowledge with her locket and Borin's countermeasure, perhaps they could construct a viable defense. Port Infinity was a dizzying superstructure of orbital platforms, zero-G bazaars, and clandestine data havens. The Sentinel, a woman named Saris, operated a seemingly legitimate rare isotope brokerage. Her true work was monitoring the ebb and flow of the galactic memflow, searching for anomalies, for telltale signs of manipulation. Saris, elegant and composed, surrounded by holographic displays depicting intricate network traffic, greeted Anya and Jax with a knowing smile. She had been expecting them, or someone like them, remarking the ledger was unusually agitated and Thuron Kale was making audacious moves, his attempts to influence transaction ordering becoming more aggressive as he tested the network's resilience. Her fragment, she explained, touching a delicate filament bracelet, allowed one to perceive the shadow stream transactions being deliberately suppressed or artificially delayed. Jax asked if Kale was already probing the network's vulnerabilities. Saris confirmed this, adding that Commander Lyra's agents were already present, having made a clumsy attempt to access her systems that morning, and would undoubtedly return with greater force. Her fragment, she continued, didn't just monitor, it could inject prioritized data packets, a sort of emergency broadcast to all validator nodes. Anya wondered if they could use that to warn the network or counter Kale's control during the halving event. Saris thought it possible, but they needed to understand Kale's precise strategy for the halving's recalibration window. His public statements spoke of stabilizing the network, but his actions suggested a full seizure of the consensus protocol. Suddenly, alarms blared. Chrono's syndicate forces, led by Commander Lyra in person, stormed the brokerage. Lyra declared the charade was over, demanding Saris surrender the fragment and informing Anya that the director wanted her unharmed, suggesting cooperation might ensure her companion's survival. Jax drew his blaster, retorting, "Not on my watch, Chrome Dome." Another desperate fight erupted. Saris, surprisingly agile, used her intimate knowledge of the station's network to trigger defenses and create diversions. But Lyra was relentless, a whirlwind of deadly precision. During a lull, Saris told Anya her fragment alone wouldn't stop Kale if he had others, but combined with Anya's locket and Borin's crystal, there was a legend of Satoshi's echo. This fail-safe, hidden within the Genesis block's foundational code, was only accessible by a convergence of prime fragments during a halving event. It was designed to initiate a network-wide cryptographic reset, a re-authentication of all nodes based on the original consensus rules, effectively locking out any unauthorized administrative control. Anya asked how to trigger it. Saris explained it required the core signature from Anya's locket, Borin's crystal to calibrate the network to accept it during the halving flux, and her fragment's ability to broadcast the trigger sequence directly into the memflow just as the halving's vulnerability window opened, emphasizing the absolute need for perfect timing. Lyra cornered Saris. Seeing no escape, Saris triggered a localized EMP, disabling weapons and systems temporarily, and thrust her bracelet into Anya's hand. She urged Anya to get to the Satoshi Drifter and head for Cygnus Major. As Kai said, the Sentinel there held the key to the Timechin seal, possibly the final piece for the Echo. Lyra recovered quickly, furious. Jax provided covering fire, and he and Anya barely escaped Port Infinity, Saris' fate unknown but grimly presumed. They now had Saris' bracelet fragment. En route to Cygnus Major, Anya looked at her locket, Borin's crystal, and Saris' bracelet. 3 fragments? Kai had mentioned 9 legendary fragments in total. Kale might have 2 or 3 by now. Cygnus Major was their last hope. The halving event was less than 24 hours away. Jax noted Cygnus Major housed the galactic central databanks, a veritable mountain of information. If a Sentinel was there, the Timechain seal sounded like it related to transaction timestamping and block ordering, critical for preventing double spends or reordering history. Cygnus Major was a stark, breathtaking ring station orbiting a pulsating neutron star. Its archives were said to contain a copy of every significant piece of data since humanity first ventured to the stars. Within its most secure vault resided the oldest active Sentinel, an AI construct named Oracle 7. Oracle 7 was not a physical entity, but a vast, shimmering lattice of light and data, its voice a symphony of resonating frequencies echoing from the walls of the climate-controlled vault. It greeted Anya Sharma and Jax Corbin, descendants of the first coders and guardians of the Unseen Order, stating it had been anticipating their arrival. The echoes of Thuron Kale's avarice, Oracle 7 explained, resonated through the very fabric of the ledger. It confirmed Kale had acquired 3 fragments, 1 from Igni's IV and 2 from less resilient Sentinels. Combined with his own deep research into the Genesis block, Kale believed he possessed enough to seize control. Anya informed Oracle 7 they also had 3 fragments and mentioned Saris words about Satoshi's echo and the crucial role of Oracle 7's fragment, the Timechain Seal. Oracle 7 confirmed its paramount importance. Its fragment governed the cryptographic links between blocks, the very chain of the blockchain, enforcing the temporal order of transactions with absolute, immutable certainty. To trigger the echo, Anya's locket's Genesis signature must authenticate the command, Borin's crystal must calibrate the network during the halving flux, Saris' fragment must broadcast it past any memflow manipulation, and Oracle 7's fragment must seal the new consensus rules across the entire timechain, making the reset permanent and Kale's subsequent attempts utterly futile. Jax realized it was a synchronized counteroffensive, a desperate race against Kale, who would be attempting to use his fragments at the exact same moment. Oracle 7 confirmed this, adding that Commander Lyra's forces were already attempting to breach its outer defenses, as Kale knew Oracle 7 was the linchpin. Alarms sounded throughout the archive. Pulsating red lights bathed everything in an ominous glow. Anya urged they needed Oracle 7's fragment to integrate with theirs. Oracle 7 explained its fragment was not physical but pure code, a self-replicating algorithmic key. It would transfer its core signature to Anya's locket, harmonizing with the Genesis data contained within. But the transfer required lowering its primary defenses and would take several crucial minutes. They had to protect the vault. Outside the vault, Jax and Anya prepared for a desperate last stand. Chrono's syndicate soldiers, spearheaded by Commander Lyra, were blasting through the final security doors. Lyra's voice, amplified and chilling, called out, demanding Oracle 7 surrender the fragment, declaring it could not halt the unification of the ledger. Jax told Anya this was that they had to buy the AI precious time, as the fate of every Bitcoin in the galaxy hung in the balance. A brutal, close-quarters battle erupted. Jax used his cunning and technical expertise to set ingenious traps, while Anya, surprisingly, utilized her archivist knowledge of the station's ancient systems to trigger emergency protocols, venting atmosphere in controlled bursts and sealing entire sections. Inside, Anya's locket glowed with an intense, ethereal light as Oracle 7 transferred the Timechain Seal code. The process was agonizingly slow. The cacophony of battle grew ever closer. Oracle 7 informed them the transfer was nearly complete. Kale's plan, it revealed, was to use the halving event's momentary reduction in network validation difficulty to insert a new master block, one signed by his collection of prime fragments, declaring Chrono's syndicate the new root authority for all transaction validation, effectively owning the ledger. Anya asked if Satoshi's echo would override his master block. Oracle 7 confirmed it would invalidate it before it could propagate across the network, forcing a galaxy-wide reevaluation of the longest valid chain based on the original cryptographic rules, anchored by her Genesis fragment. The halving event window was now active. They had mere minutes. The vault door groaned under immense pressure, then exploded inward. Commander Lyra strode in, weapon aimed, declaring them too late, the fragment theirs, and Kale initiating the takeover sequence. But as Lyra raised her weapon, Oracle 7 unleashed a powerful data surge, a wave of disruptive energy that temporarily scrambled her cybernetics and weapon systems. Oracle 7 announced the transfer was complete, the Timechain Seal was Anya's, and urged her to go and initiate the echo. Jax and Anya, having fought their way back to the Satoshi Drifter under a hail of fire, launched just as Cygnus Major was overwhelmed by Syndicate forces. Anya frantically worked at a console, integrating the 4 fragment signatures. On a main screen, the Bitcoin Concord ledger network status showed critical alerts. Unauthorized administrative commands were being detected across multiple sectors. Jax shouted that Kale was doing it, network latency spiking, validator nodes dropping offline or reporting conflicting chain tips. This was it. He urged Anya to activate the sequence. Her fingers flew across the console, authenticating the locket signature, activating Borin's recalibration code, engaging Saris broadcast protocol, and sealing the sequence with Oracle 7's Timechain Seal. She declared she was initiating Satoshi's echo now and slammed her hand down on an activation key. A wave of pure data energy, visible even to the naked eye as a shimmering distortion, seemed to emanate from the Satoshi drifter, interfacing with the Bitcoin Concord ledger. Across the galaxy, validator nodes flickered and reset. Thuron Kale, on the bridge of the Epic Sentinel, watched in stunned disbelief as his control interface turned crimson with cascading error messages. His master block was being systematically rejected by node after node. The network began to stabilize, but around a chain that did not recognize his usurped authority. Commander Lyra, recovering from the data surge, saw Chrono's syndicate systems failing to penetrate the newly hardened ledger. The decentralized network, thanks to Satoshi's echo, reasserted its original protocols. The halving event completed, and the parameters for new block validation adjusted, but the fundamental integrity of the ledger was preserved. Later, in the Satoshi drifter's cockpit, Anya and Jax watched as the network status returned to a steady green. Alerts faded into history. Transaction flows resumed, decentralized, and free. Jax let out a huge, shuddering breath, exclaiming they actually did it, that the old code held true, and the first coders had indeed planned for this very eventuality. Anya, clutching the locket, now faintly warm against her skin, reflected that they believed in a system no single power could ever control. The Satoshi Prime remained fragmented, its full power never to be wielded by one, but its legacy, the decentralized, trusted, enabled, endured. The fight was far from over. Thuron Kale was still out there, his ambitions likely undeterred, merely delayed. But for now, the Bitcoin Concord ledger, the digital lifeblood of countless worlds, remained in the hands of the many, not the few. Anya Sharma, no longer just a data heretic but a true sentinel, knew her journey was only just beginning. The whispers of the old code, the echo of Satoshi, would continue to guide her path.